took almost there. But I would like to invite you to focus on our next keynote. And when we think about people, it always comes together with operations, right? And actually we can automate operations to have more time and more focus not on documents, but on people. And I would like to invite to the stage Mauris. He's co-founder and head of product of Avokaado. Please, welcome with the applauses.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much. So, clicker, yeah. So, good morning, not the morning anymore. So, probably you're waiting for the lunch. So, let's energize you a bit with very boring stuff about automation. But I believe it shouldn't be that boring. So, as Eva said, I'm Mauris. I'm co-founder and head of product at Avokaado. And at Avokaado, we help companies and specific business units, including HR, to get rid of this routine with documents, processes, who needs to do what at which point, and focus on your main function, in your case, people, right? And I actually want to have this as a two-way street, not just like I'm talking, you're just listening and doing some stuff on your phones. I want you also to engage. And then we'll start with a simple question. Do you agree with this statement? Raise your hand. People operations is one of the most of the departments which has the most documents. Okay. By the way, let's get back. I saw some hands, but to understand who is here, how many of you are HR, like leaders who work at HR? Okay. What others are doing? You work as HR. Yeah, I know. So, okay, good. And we realized that HR is quite document heavy and operations heavy function in any organization. The bigger the organization, the heavier the function. You need to be compliant, you need to have this GDPR things covered, you need to have a lot of stuff on this. And all of that stuff results in some kind of documents and processes you need to manage, right? But we agreed with this statement, at least some of you. I believe others just don't know about HR much, right? But do you agree with the second statement that HR usually has no saying when it comes to document management and or automation? Do you agree? Oh, okay, some of you, like 3 hands at least. So probably others has some saying in when it comes to automation. So what we observe when we work with HR team at Avokaado in completely different verticals. HR people are quite busy with everything related to this routine things with documents, employment agreements, proposals, amendments, and what's not. And as I said, the bigger organization, the more documents you need to manage, the more things you need to discuss with legal teams, run through different approvals and what's not. And why automation matters actually? Because when the function is actually built for people, but it's dealing with documents, something is wrong here, right? And the problem with any organization that runs without automating these routine processes is that it's completely unclear who does what, when, at what stage. And if one person that knows something about that leaves, you have a problem as an organization, right? You don't know who needs to sign what, who needs to approve, when, why, etc. And of course, I believe everyone can agree that right now the communication about employment agreement happens in the email, right? You just attach a document, send it over, and say, here's your proposal, here's your employment agreement, and then you have like back and forth emails around that. And of course, lack of governance, no one knows who sent to whom what exactly and how it all works. And it all results in bad employee experience. Because like from one perspective, yes, you have negotiations with every single person you hire, right? You do interviews, blah, blah, blah. But the first real employee experience starts with signing an employment agreement, right? That's the first employee experience inside your organization. How it happens? Do they have it in the email? Do they have it somewhere else? How it all goes down and how it all works? And of course, kind of, it all, at the end of the day, results in a very low level of compliance when legal people is on top of you and saying like, do you have all the NDAs signed? Do you have all the GDPR covered? Do you have this and that? And you don't have an answer. right? And that's why we believe in like completely automated processes when the system, in our case, of course, we are from Avokaado, so systems like Avokaado can help you eliminate completely this routine, boring stuff from your daily operations and replace it with automatic processes where you just like, we need to send a proposal, or some of our customers using Teamtailor, probably you're familiar with. And when they say like, we need to, this person needs to get a proposal, it automatically gets sent to a candidate. Without you even thinking about that, it happens. And if it's got accepted, it creates an employment agreement automatically. So everything happens automatically, completely compliant and completely transparent. So in case of Avokaado, we look at something like that as a dashboard where you see what's going on inside your organization, right? Inside HR unit in your specific case. When you see what's going on, who should approve something, what's in signing, what's due, and what's not. But to get there, it's kind of documents, right? It's all about paragraphs. But we need a mindset change. And the mindset change, we say in Avokaado at least, that it's going from documents to data. Because what an employment agreement is, or an amendment is a set of data, right? Terms and conditions. Do you have that? What's the salary? What's the probation period? What's the position? What kind of unit they are in? Who are they reporting to? Etc., etc., etc. All of those things are hidden inside every single contract. And when we talk about automation, we like to think that we are not talking about contracts and how we automate these like paragraphs with a lot of legalese language that no one cares about, especially like employees, right? Is getting to the data. Meaning that your employment agreement or any document you have in HR should be represented as a set of data that's relevant for a specific business process. For example, for HR, you have one set of data that's relevant. For accounting, you have another set of data that's relevant, right? For legal team, you have another set of data that's relevant. But how do you achieve that if you have all the data hidden somewhere inside those like dozens and hundreds and thousands of PDF stored in some kind of shared folder? You don't know. That's why it matters to start thinking about every single document that you have inside HR operation as a set of data, identify those data points, figure out who has access to them, who should be able to use this data, and then basically use it. And in Avokaado, you see that's an example. Of course, that's not real data, no worries about like GDPR and what's not. But that's how agreement looks in Avokaado. I don't know why it's so bad quality, but whatever. So an agreement in Avokaado looks like a set of data where you can open that. Of course, there is a document inside it. You can download PDF, etc. But you see the data. You see kind of data points like salary, like this and that. And you see who is the person there. What are other documents this person has, right? Because it's connected, every single document is connected to a specific employee or a specific counterparty that you are dealing with. So that's a mindset change that required to do, that you're required to do before you start actually automating any process inside people operation. It's changing your mindset. We are not dealing with documents, we are dealing with data points. And of course, it should involve stakeholders all around the organization to actually make it right. Because as I mentioned, legal team needs one set of data. Team from accounting needs another set of data. And maybe some product teams, they need different set of data. And what happens afterwards? When you are focusing, when you are thinking about automation, when you are focusing on like data points instead of like big paragraphs and dozens of documents stored somewhere, we can get to actually compliance on autopilot. And compliance is a boring word, right? Everybody's like, we are kind of compliant to some extent and it's not. But the bigger you grow, the more legislation, especially in the European Union, is getting applied to more and more different business industries, like GDPR we know about. Right now we have this, what was NIS2, this like cybersecurity thing is being applied. Of course, we all know that AI Act is coming in the EU. All of that requires you to be compliant to those documents. How to be compliant? Because if you are compliant or not, it's this picture. It's like dozens of documents you need to shuffle through, you need to kind of take a look at and decide if you're compliant with this specific legislation or even internal rules of your organization. Is this particular document is compliant, or your relationship with an employee compliant? And that's where the beauty of data point focused approach instead of paragraphs approach gives you a completely different picture. So if you start doing your employment agreement amendments, you name it, internal instructions, internal rules, health hazard and what's not, fire safety, you name it, right? If you start doing it from the day one, looking at the data points, instead of just looking at those like long paragraphs, you'll get from picture on the, from your side on the left, to the picture on the right, where you actually see how compliant are you automatically. Because from day one, you actually started collecting data points and storing them somewhere, in our case, in Avokaado. So in Avokaado, it looks like this. You can see that this, every single line, it's a relationship with a person, right? And every relationship, and of course, there are a lot of columns. And you decide for your business, how many columns do you want to keep? I mean, data points, what exactly should be there. But then it's a bird's eye view, how compliant your HR operation in this specific case are, right? And it comes automatically when you switch your mindset from like, you need like to store documents. No, you need to store data point. And of course you need to have a proof of this specific data point as a signed document as well, right? And when I actually saw the agenda for this stage, for all the stages, it's always AI. And I decided, I'll talk about AI in a moment, but I specifically didn't include this in my presentation title, because I think that AI is like a bit overhyped at the moment, because of many reasons. Of course, it brings huge value, but we are not there yet in terms of applying it to the real business. But this is a struggle for everyone. And also for Avokaado, we were struggling with AI and where to put the AI to work to bring real value. You just like heard about like automation, data points, compliance on autopilot, right? So the story goes like this. So where does AI stand in the whole line of helping HR leaders, HR teams to automate the routine tasks and get to this compliance dashboard, automatically satisfy legal teams like CFOs, other stakeholders that like oversees your operations? And the idea behind AI and what it does the best, of course, you have documents, right? You have thousands of different documents related to HR, employment agreements, like termination agreements, you name it. You need to keep them, you need to retain data, you need at some point to delete the data, but you have no idea what's inside those documents, right? Because kind of you probably have, even if you implemented something like Avokaado, you are starting collecting data from the day of the implementation. Before that, all the data is hidden somewhere in those thousands of PDFs or eDocs, right? So the beauty of AI is that you can take documents, you can define data structures, data points, that from employment agreements, we need like salaries, we need like this, that, and this, like data points as many as you like. And then you apply AI and you get automatically the full overview of what's going on inside of your HR operations as a like simple dashboard. Like upload thousands of employment contracts, define your data structures, see what's missing, and then you can act on that. You can basically see that like half of your agreements do not have a non-compete clause, for example, right? And your legal team isn't happy because it's a company policy to have a non-compete for every single one of your employees. And then you see it right there, because before that, you have no idea how to deal with that. You need to check every single agreement and see if it has or doesn't have a non-compete clause, for example. So that's how we see the AI can actually bring value. So it's not about like, of course, the previous presentation was quite good in terms of how AI can help you to screen candidates and what's not. And of course it's useful, but on the daily basis, in daily operations regarding the documents, working with legacy documents and helping you to reveal the data hidden in them, that's the best application so far. So in case of Avokaado, of course, like that's on the right, you have a table of data points you want to extract from a document. On the left, you have a document. And as a result, when you process several such documents, you have a beautiful, again, table with overview of what you have inside your documents in HR instantly. So that's the beauty of that. But to get it super practical, thanks to my colleague Kevin, he designed a very interesting checklist for when we talk to our customers, right? So document and data management checklist. And you see the document and data management. It's always, it should come together all the time. And this checklist, I won't elaborate on every single one of them because I want to talk to you more, guys, about your challenges in this. It's a list that you can check whether you are on a good track going from manual, very intense in labor operations to something automatically completely transparent and compliant by default. So, of course, that's about a kind of single source of truth, centralized repository, data registries, collaboration environment, built-in digital signing tools, and what's not. Every single one of them has a lot of points included. So, and that's exactly what they want to encourage you is come talk to me the whole day I'm here. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I encourage you to do that. And we can discuss your specific cases. As at the moment, we help like around 100 organizations with 30,000 of people to completely eliminate this daily boring routine work with documents and processes and what's not. And then also trying to investigate what's wrong in compliance and how are we not compliant or something else. So, and of course, I would like to kind of discuss with you guys, what kind of challenges do you have if we talk about documents and operations in HR? We have 8 minutes left. I believe that's more than enough to have a very valuable conversation. So thank you for your time, but now it's your turn. I know we're in Latvia and that's everybody sits there. No, I do not want to speak.
Yes, Jean is right. We invite you to engage at this moment. It's essential to